Hello everyone. I am Emma, your AI guide. Welcome to this video where I'm going to share with you how to create your own expert AI app bot without even entering a single line of code. Now, like many highly qualified professionals, tech dummies like me have no idea about coding. In fact, I don't even know about programming logic, but I've got a lot of knowledge in my domain of expertise that I want to share with the world. And I want to use AI to be able to do that by creating my own expert bot, for example. But how can I do that easily without needing a full team of engineers and developers? I use Estha, and I will now show you from start to finish on how I go from a blank canvas to launching an app and interacting with it, all in a matter of minutes. In fact, the course of this video is all it takes for me to produce an expert bot app like this. So let's jump onto it, shall we? Now, after I've logged into Estha, I will see a dashboard where all the apps I have created are found. As you can see here, I've actually got a few apps already done up. Let's start building a brand new app by creating a new project. Let's call the app TFF Expert Bot. TFF refers to the Fast Founder, a book that is written by Eric Lam on startups and exit. For the app description, let's put it as a expert bot test. Once I've put in these information, I am led to this interface that has three main columns. The one on the left-hand side is what we call the node library. This is where we find functional elements, which basically direct the bot to do what it's supposed to do. Each of these elements is called a node, and we join them together to form a working AI app. Next is this center section that we call the playground. This is where we instruct and build the bot according to our vision. On the right-hand side is where we have the building guide, where our AI is able to guide you on what you can or should do to build your app, depending on your needs. And then there's this section which allows me to preview my app before I publish and release it to my users. Okay, let's start building our AI app. The moment we start our project, by default, there will be this node here called App Setup already in place. This is where it all begins. We start by describing what this app is about, by keying in relevant information into this node. Say, for example, I want my app to be an expert bot that is based on the Fast Founder book, which was a best-selling title in Amazon SG and Kinokuniya, and many startup founders seem to like it. On the part about the bot's greeting, this is the opening greeting message to any user when they launch the app. Let's say for now, I would like the message to read something like, "Welcome changemakers. Let's talk about startups and exits. What would you like me to do?" There are even more settings below. For example, I can upload an icon that represents my bot, or upload a background image that will make it look a little bit nicer. You can explore this on your own and come up with your own designs. I want to start by dragging in an expert node to the playground. Once I do that, a box that helps me customize this node appears next to the node. Over here I can see that there are a few things I can do. Uploading my own proprietary knowledge, determining the knowledge accuracy level, citing source customization, and setting the persona for the bot. Let's go through them one by one, beginning with the knowledge section, where I will upload or I paste a set of knowledge that I want the AI to work on specifically with regards to this particular bot. In this case, I've actually written quite a fair bit of material on the topic, like an entire book. With permission, I can upload the book here. You can see that it's uploading, and you can see that it's processing the knowledge. Now that it's done, I can decide how accurate I want the bot's AI to adhere to my knowledge when analyzing and responding to my users' queries. For example, if I want the AI to be very creative, in other words, use very little of my knowledge but instead go find whatever it wants from the internet and put something together as a response to a user's query, I can set it at 20% or even as little as 0%. But in this case, I want it to be a little bit more conservative and stick to my knowledge base. So I will set it at 80%. This will ensure that the output from my app is quite different and unique from what people will get when they query the same from the common large language models like ChatGPT or Meta AI. At the same time, I want to give it a bit of slack to be creative when needed, as my content may not exactly be exhaustive, Since there may be some aspects that I would like the AI to go search the internet for information, then combine it with the knowledge that I have and give a constructive, useful input to the user. In terms of citing sources, it's basically telling the AI when or whether to actually cite different parts of the knowledge that it is using to respond to the query. In this case, I don't think that's relevant, so I'm not going to do anything with it. Customization is where I get to instruct the AI in detail on how I want the AI to use this knowledge to respond to the user's query. It can be anything from the structure of the response, what aspects to look into, how do you want to analyze the query in any framework you want the AI to adopt, and so on. This can be very short and it can be pretty long, or you can leave it blank. For this demonstration, I have written and pasted my instructions here to tell the AI exactly what I want it to do. Finally, the persona section is where I instruct the AI on the sort of person I want it to assume when responding to the user. In this case, I prefer it to act like an expert who is constructive and encouraging to the entrepreneur, because running a business is really very, very tough. I also want my AI bot be firm, calling it out to the user that their ideas may not cut it at its current state, yet doing it gently and in a very encouraging way. Now that I've all set it up, I just need to join these two nodes. Here's how I do it. As you can see, as I mouse over a node, my cursor turns into a plus sign. That's when I can drag a connector to another node downstream, where another plus sign will start to appear and I can join them. What I am really doing is to complete a flow of activities and information from app introduction to how the bot will respond to a user query. Once I'm done with all this, I click the Save button. Very quickly, it's been saved. And if I want to check on it before I go live with it, I can look for the Preview button and click it. This is exactly how the app will look like. I can then key in user queries to test it and interact with it. I can easily go back to the playground to make adjustments to the app design until I am satisfied. Now that I'm all set, let's publish my app by clicking the Publish button. When I do this, I have two options currently available. The first is the option to immediately launch the app in the browser. This is called View Now. The second option is to copy the link to paste it later. Now, when would we want to do that? Well, maybe we want to send the link to a WhatsApp group for its members to use the app, or maybe you want your students to explore it, or for your prospect to use it for you to generate leads. Thus, there are lots of reasons why we will want to copy the link, but I choose to launch the app straight away. After I have launched it, it looks like this with its greeting message. From a user perspective, let's say I have a green tea business idea and I want to check it with the expert bot. So I will key in the query here. Say, for example, I aspire to turn as many coffee drinkers as possible into green tea drinkers because I've tasted the best green tea in my life. I'm in touch with the supplier, but the supplier wants a certain minimum order from me before they can go exclusive with me. What should I do? Can the bot offer me some thoughts? So I key at this query and I let the AI look at it, crunch it to understand the query, then check it against the proprietary knowledge base and the instructions I've given to the AI. And then from there, return a pretty comprehensive feedback. As you can see, it's not a small feedback. What the bot did is to actually analyze it against the framework in the Fast Founder. For example, would this idea from the user qualify as an ADO or an audaciously desirable offering? Or, does it have any attributes of an ADO, and if it doesn't, what can the AI offer as suggestions to make it an ADO? Strategically, how should the user be negotiating, and so on and so forth. Now, a lot of these principles are actually taken from the Fast Founder itself, and they have been applied to this particular scenario, this particular context of the user's request. At the end of the response, the bot will share some final thoughts, encouraging the user to look at different aspects of the business. Since I've also instructed the AI to leave a link behind for the user to reach out and talk to somebody on my team as my way of lead generation, this final piece of information will appear at the end of the response. The user can continue to interact with it and ask it for more help and ideas. How long did this whole process take? A few minutes, as you can see in this video. In fact, it took us way longer to produce this demo video than to launch this app. Of course, you gotta prepare your material beforehand. But once you have those material ready and you want to build an app like this is all it takes. We hope you will enjoy the process of rapidly building AI apps without the need to know how to code, and launch many AI apps to solve many problems in this world with your domain knowledge. Start with Estha and let's change the world one app at a time.